avoid legal snags, tell people when they're being recorded. You're being recorded, Logan.
What? Does Skype tell you that?
It is.
Well, why does it pop up and tell me I'm being recorded?
I don't know. In case I
feel like
did
they
want
could
to avoid
easily-
these things.
Yeah, I feel like they could easily include that. It's like whenever you take over from Let Me In, or was it Let Me In? Log Me In, where we would take over their screen.
Yep.
It pops up and shows them that, hey, just so you know, someone's watching you.
Alrighty. So I'm going to call this season 2, and then I'll call the next one episode 22.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Did it just work out? No, you said, oh, okay. Hey, what's happening?
Hey guys, welcome to season 2 of What's Wrong with These Kids. Glad to be back after taking a little break after Christmas and the start of the year, and it is time for us to get back to work, as they say, I guess. So we just want to take this first episode in this season just to kind of give updates on what we're doing and catch up and all the good stuff. So, Logan, what's new with you, bud?
Not much, just hunkering down while everything shuts down around me. The only thing that hasn't shut down is traffic and construction. Because I live directly across the street from where they're building the Amazon headquarters too. Like I could see it from my balcony.
Yeah.
Even though it's only a single or 2-lane road. And then there's a Costco behind it. So I'm already having like nightmares of how that's going to work out. I don't know why they thought to put it there. And I'm kind of annoyed I didn't buy a condo 3 years ago before they announced that. Because now everything is going up. I'm looking forward to my landlord telling me how much the rent increases when my lease is up in June. So that should be fun. Just doing that, working from home. At least that's nice. It's easy for me to avoid people because I just blame everything on the flu that's going around.
Yeah, they're kind of losing their minds everywhere, and
over a lot of weird things too. Not necessarily the things you would think they should be, like hoarding, flu vaccines. No, we're worried about toilet paper.
So now, when I've discussed this with medical professionals, they typically are not nearly as panicky as non-medical professionals. But no, the thing that's most annoyed me that they're canceling is Carrie and I had tickets to Hamilton next week, and they're postponing it.
Yep.
And so I'm frustrated and I'm angry because I guarantee you they're going to schedule it for like the week I'm at camp, and I'm not going to get to go. And I'm going to be freaking pissed if that's the case. But that's what they've canceled that. We're going to a play tonight, a high school play tonight that I keep checking to see, make sure that they're still on.
That sounds even worse.
No,
obviously it's worse in Hamilton, but
but no, so we're going tonight, and that'll be good. But people are acting crazy. I got an email from Hungry Howie's. They wanted me to know that if I paid online when they delivered a pizza, I could tell them just to leave it on the doorstep and walk away, so I don't have to actually come into contact with people.
Because everyone likes eating pizza off the floor. That's the best way.
So anyways, it's things are going crazy.
I had tickets to go to a comedy show at the DC Improv on Saturday, and then Sunday, Jordan and I were going to drive and stay at the Guinness factory and do samplings over there. And we both took off Monday, and now we're like, well, we could just hang out at home, instead. Doesn't that sound like fun? We've been watching Netflix for the last 5 days in a row. Let's do that again.
So that's a good segue. What are you watching on Netflix right now?
And you know what? I'm gonna say Netflix. Can we just say online streaming? Because
yes.
I call my Fire Stick. It's basically a Pokeball of everyone's different streaming credentials. Because it's like I got Jordan's Hulu and HBO, so I couldn't tell you exactly which one it's on.
I got you.
But yeah, I actually literally just watched the Ted Bundy, the one with all where it's all the females that were involved and focuses on them, and it's like his ex-girlfriend. That was pretty good. Okay, this is a better one. Jordan and I watched McMillions last night.
Okay.
So that was like probably a little over 6 hours straight. That was supposed to be background noise when we were supposed to be working. Um, God, I hope none of her bosses listen to this. Uh,
I
but
can splice that out. I'll splice that
yeah.
out.
Well, she was up working until like 1 in the morning, and so she was clearly putting in the hours. But partway through, I think we had two more episodes left. She's like, "Man, I don't know why this kind of makes me want some McDonald's." I'm like, "Yeah, I was thinking that too." Uh, so she goes and picks up McDonald's for both of us, and we're eating it. And you kind of realize why you don't eat McDonald's every day. Like immediately afterwards, you're like, "Oh, I don't feel good at all." But it was actually very captivating. It was about, remember, you and I when we were kids. I think even you called it when we were trying to play the Monopoly thing,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
you're like, nah, I'm pretty sure this is a scam. Like I think all the
Yes.
workers are taking all the good pieces. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think but yeah, well, we would have 15 boards almost filled up, but like never won anything important. And
Yep.
then apparently, yeah, was it 10, 12 years later, they find out, oh yeah, it was set up the entire time.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I remember when they did the first year, they put them in the
Newspaper.
in newspapers,
Yep.
and we went around and stole hundreds of those sheets. Like we put 50 cents in, open it up, and steal the inserts out of all the papers.
Yeah, which has got to be some sort of crime, right?
Oh, I'm sure it is. But seriously, are they going to try a 7 and 9 year old on that crime? I mean,
Not
really.
back then, but today they do.
But yeah, but we had a whole board filled out except for one piece on each spot,
Hmm.
so we couldn't win anything.
Multiples.
Um, Well, I've been watching a bunch on Netflix. I've kind of been going back through some old, or not some old stand-up comedy, but some stand-up comedy I've already seen before that I'm watching again. But one show that I really enjoyed was Lock and Key. Have you watched Lock and Key yet?
Oh yeah, I started to, and you just reminded me. I forgot. I wanted to go back, but because I thought it could be. Sometimes I'll watch things when I'm working, and
Yeah,
it's just in the background. Like
yeah. You
true
can't do it
crime
with this,
documentaries, a lot of times I can be like, yeah, yeah, okay, I've heard it like 100 times, so I
right?
can. But this one, I'm like, I have to come back to this. Kind of like I'm watching Picard.
Okay.
Um, like I think I'm paying for TBS or whatever station is. It's just because I'm like, oh man, I gotta watch this every week. This is so weird.
So,
But those are
yeah, I
those
watched.
shows. Yeah. So I have to go back and start it over and pay attention to it.
Well, I've really enjoyed it. So I watched that, and then on Wizard and the Bruiser, they did a whole episode on Lock and Key, and so I listened to that, and then I happened to be reformatting a old Firebook Kindle, and I was doing that, and it came up that all of the Lock and Key
Oh,
comics
is that
are
a
free.
tablet?
But yeah.
Okay, I was
The
trying to figure
Kindle
out
Fire.
what.
That's what I meant. Kindle Fire, not a
I was
Firebook.
thinking of
Fire.
things you start fires with.
No. Kindle Fire. And when I rebooted it, I kind of wiped it clean in factory settings. It came up with like these suggested things that you could read, and if you have Prime, you can read all the Amazon or the Lock and Key comics for free. So I'm now
Oh, that's
going
cool.
through and reading the comics and enjoying it. And the way that Amazon does comics is they have this enhanced mode. You'll like this. You'll really enjoy this because I know this is one of your biggest pet peeves with comics that you hit start and you swipe the page and it automatically picks the next cell that you're supposed to read. Because you said you get lost looking at a page of comics and going, I have no idea
Oh,
which order it's supposed to
yeah.
be. That it
Because
just
they're not
goes and
always, it's not the same shape or whatever. I didn't grow up reading them, so I didn't know how the flow works.
yes. So and I could draw a flow chart for you as to how to read comics, but if you do it on Amazon, it automatically goes ahead and does
The other
that.
thing I hated about comics was the words and reading part. Um,
There's like 9 words on a page. Like it should be easy enough for you to do
I
that.
know, but it was easier when I had a big brother that would just tell me what happened. They'd be like, "Okay, cool. So, all right, there's this guy Blade, and he hunts vampires." I'm like, "Sounds great, awesome."
So yes, that's what I've been watching on Netflix. I've been watching other things. I watched Daybreak. That one was okay.
Mhm.
The teen vampire one, that was okay. I watched October Faction, which was also okay. I'm looking forward to season 4 of Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
Bert Kreischer new stand up comes out
Watch
next
if they
week.
announce they're like, due to COVID-19, we're gonna postpone the release, and everyone just starts to fire and they're burning buildings down.
Yeah, I did see an article yesterday that Xbox Live was down. They're like, this is the worst time to have Xbox Live go down.
I
Like,
know now people are wandering the streets.
yeah. So yeah, so as I've been
That's
watching.
probably that would be actually the best like continue like if like CDC is like, I don't know how we keep people inside. Let's just release Stranger Things early, and then say Xbox Live is free for the next month. Like start giving these things out. Like, wow, we haven't seen a person outdoors in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's
See, yeah, that would be yeah. That's my P.S. I'm trademarking that joke in case someone wants to steal it.
audio trademarks are a thing. Um, so yeah, so we've been watching that. Podcast. You listen to any new podcasts?
Not new, but every now and then when well, the one I really like, is the Bonfire. I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at it right. And it's got Dan Soder, who we were supposed to see on Saturday, actually. Yeah, the Bonfire and Big J Ogerson. And it's an XM, or what's the XM radio station,
That's
but
a thing.
but every week they just give you like the best highlights. So
Okay.
it's, and they're both stand-ups. And I've noticed one, I can't listen to it at work because me trying to not bust out laughing and pretending like I'm working at the same time, especially if I'm listening to it when I'm in the bathroom and people just hear me giggling in like the stall. And they're like, "What is he looking at? That's so funny." And also, I can't do it when I'm driving because my eyes will close and I'm on the interstate, and I'm like, "This is dangerous." But after I listen through all of those, then it starts pulling up some of the older episodes. I don't think I have any um, new ones that I'm listening to. I'm just looking real quick. I mean, I still got the same Dumb People Town, which is like at least 1/3 Florida news stories. Um, the Florida Man, We Hate Movies, How This Get Made, My Favorite Murder. Oh, the Never Seen It. I think I told you was pretty funny, where it's people that haven't like I've never seen The Wire. Um, I didn't really finish what is it, Breaking Bad, like some of these shows that everyone watches.
Yeah.
So they take people that have never seen a huge movie, like who have never seen The Godfather, and then they write a script of how they think it was, and then they have comedians read the script. like They're like, Al Capone enters the room. He waves his like smoking gun around the way, whatever. And just people are like, no, I kind of see where you probably saw some previews or seen posters,
Yeah.
and I think that one's pretty funny. Um, you mentioned one just a minute ago, that I have never heard of. And actually, now
Oh,
that
Wizard and the Bruiser.
yeah, that one.
Yeah, Wizard and the Bruiser. So, it's a nerd history podcast. So, like, they do an hour and a half episode on Power Rangers and the history of Power Rangers, or I'm trying to remember what other ones they'll do artists, they'll do comic book artists, they'll do movies, they do all kinds of stuff. And I really enjoy them. They're on the last podcast on the left network.
Okay, yeah.
Well, they moved all their stuff to Spotify,
Is it got
and
one of those guys as the researcher? I can't remember their names individually because when I'm listening to them, they all sound the same, except
Holden
for
McNeely is one of
Nebraska.
them, and I can't remember the other guy.
They're
I don't
just
think
on
they're
the
the same
network.
guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, because I know they're on different ones on that network. So,
But they moved all their stuff to Spotify, which is super annoying because I listen to all my podcasts on iTunes Podcasts, and so now when I want to listen to it, I have to switch apps, which seems like, oh, that's really not big of a deal, but it's annoying to me. It's annoying.
I think is
Uh,
because they get paid that way.
yeah, yeah. So Spotify is trying to buy, like, so they have an exclusive podcast with Griffin and Justin McElroy. It's the two of them and brothers, best friends of theirs that are also brothers, and they talk about video games. And so while I was on there, and they see that I'm listening to Wizard and the Bruiser and the Besties is the McElroy one, they started suggesting all these other podcasts, and I found a whole bunch of other ones that I've started listening to,
Well,
but
okay, that's cool.
they're all on iTunes, so I just subscribe on iTunes.
Yeah.
So, but some of those that I've enjoyed, I told you about one, Dungeons and Daddies, which is a real play Dungeons and
That was
Dragons
the one
podcast.
that you told me, and I forgot. I left your text unread,
Mm-hmm.
so I would remember. But
Mm-hmm.
then as soon as I got another text, I mean, I click on it, then it's like gone. So I forgot all about it.
Yeah, check that one out. I've thoroughly enjoyed that one because what's really funny is all the time, every one of them is adding new mechanics to the game. Like the last one, they mentioned Birkenstocks, and one of the guys had never heard of Birkenstock. They didn't know what they were, and they said if
Ask
you
mom
can,
about Birkenstocks. Remember her
they said
getting
if
so mad at Gracie for eating all of her Birkenstocks?
yes, only the left shoes, only the left shoes. Usually the
Right,
dogs
yeah,
play with
yeah.
them.
That was
She
the
had four.
confusing part to her too. She's like, "What? Not even both pairs? Like what?"
Yeah, she had like three right foot Birkenstocks. But anyways, but they said if you can guess what it is during the game, we'll give you an automatic D20, like an automatic nat 20
Oh,
roll. And so there's like, okay, all right, all right. And so like they kept like dropping hints, and he was trying to figure out what it was, but he only had one actual guess. And I told you
oh,
about
he couldn't try as many times as he wanted to.
he could like ponder, but he had to say, "This is my final answer. This is what I
Oh,
think it
okay.
is."
Yeah, Who
Uh,
Wants to Be a Millionaire rules.
Yes, it was to be Millionaire Rules, but they did that one. They did. I told you about the one of the guys uses nunchucks and he can do flourishes, and every time he does a flourish, it could increase his chance to have a nat 20, a critical roll. But like if he messes it up, he hits himself with the nunchucks.
Yeah, that's right. Well, ask anyone who has ever picked up a set of nunchucks for the first time, and if they tell me they didn't hit themselves in the face or the nuts, they are lying.
Only unless they do the over the head
Yeah,
swing
okay,
move.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't count. That's like someone that picks up a whip and they get to hang on to that for like 10 minutes. Like, tell me you didn't hit yourself back with that.
Oh my goodness. But
They're
so no.
dangerous. Why are those toys? We've all had them as children.
Well, I don't know that we've all had them. Maybe us rednecks in the South have had them, but I
Right,
don't
yeah,
know
the
that
ones that had
it's a
access to a
universal
flea market
experience.
on a regular basis.
This is true. So anyway, so I started listening to that one, and then I started listen. I didn't like Two Bears in the Cave the first time I listened to it, but I've thoroughly enjoyed going back and listening to it, and it's made me go back and watch Kreischer and Segura's stand up. Have you seen the video of them? Their dance off videos?
Yeah, actually, very well produced.
Yes.
I watched the Kreischer one many times, and I've shown it to people. Who I don't remember who was the other one you said?
Segura.
Sigur. Oh wait, no,
You're thinking you've shown Segura's because he's got long hair in it,
no,
and they got
no, it's Bert Kreischer, the machine.
yes,
That's I think the one. No, yeah, because he rips his shirt and pants off.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's Burt Kreischer one.
I don't
Well,
remember Segura's. I think I only watched that once because I think his was after.
yeah, so Kreischer's he did his, and then he was saying how good it was, and Segura was like, "You're an idiot. It looks so stupid. You look like a fat white guy. Dance. It looks so
That's
bad."
exactly what it was.
And he said, he goes, "Well, then you do it." And he goes, "Okay." And so then Segura dropped like 20 grand on doing his own video. Like he hired a choreographer, hired a music video producer, and made this huge video where it was, and he goes, "The purpose is just to take a dump on Burt Kreischer's video. That is the only reason I'm doing this video."
He's got filling out stadium money.
Yeah.
So
I, I told Carrie that, she goes, "Oh, how nice to have $20,000 to drop on a prank." And I go, "Well, he also used it to advertise his show,
yeah.
but they even
Well, that
do
was
a
I think that's what Bert's was
yes,
too. It was
yes,
just
his
showing the
commercial,
tour dates or whatever.
but they
But his was only like 30 seconds long.
yes. So Segura's though they also have a CG Burt Kreischer in there that's super fat, and so yeah, so it's
Okay,
there,
I'll have
but
to go pull his back up again.
yeah. But yeah, so I've enjoyed those, and then I also this is probably not one that you would say, "Oh yeah, that's what I want to do." I found a podcast that spends 3 hours discussing every Disney movie. So like 3 hours discussing Aladdin, 3 hours discussing Beauty and
I
the
would
Beast.
listen to the Aladdin one. Yeah, I love how this is probably twice as long as each of these movies. Uh, what if it's
Yes.
just the movie, but they just slow it down to like half X or whatever?
Yeah. So
Oh,
so
but speaking of old, real quick before I forget,
you're
with
good.
the old ones, um, another thing that might get messed up is for my buddy Vinny, we had plans to go to, we're gonna get breakfast, we're gonna get sized for tuxes, which for his wedding, and then we had tickets to go to an XFL game. They just opened a new team in DC.
Yeah.
Even though
Well,
it's
they
not
just
like we don't have enough
well they just started
professional.
the league. They just started the league this last year.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, the league is yeah new as well, but it's like we already have a professional football stadium and team here. But yeah, sure, why not just add another like a simu league?
Might as well, I guess.
But so with that, I think that got canceled. Um, and we were trying to come up with other plans, and so we were like, talk. There was like a whole group text, and they're talking about like, oh, have you seen like the Zelda cartoons or like the original X? And then I brought up the X-Men ones, and I'm like, guys, I think I might have all of these downloaded on my computer right now. If I took it from you, yeah, yeah. And they're like, all right, new change of plans. We're going to Logan's Den on that day
Yes, I did
since
find a
everyone's self
website.
quarantining.
I did find a website that had all the old cartoons we watched that you could download, but you had to download them like one at a time. And so I think I spent several weeks
Oh,
downloading
is that like if
those.
you have to pay for a premium to do it like this, or you
I'm
can wait
sure. I'm
20
sure.
minutes and get it? Yeah,
I'm
I've
sure.
done that. I'm like, nah, I can wait. You're good.
But I got those. I got Animaniacs. I got the Gargoyle. But several of these are now on Disney Plus. You can get them on Disney Plus.
Gargoyles. Jordan was watching Gargoyles by herself because I think it was on some channel, like maybe Hulu or something like
It's on
that.
Disney Plus now.
Well, maybe she was watching it on Disney Plus, and she's like, "Have you ever seen this show Gargoyles?" I'm like, "Are you talking about the cartoon from like '90s?" She's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it's very dark. I didn't think it would be as." And I was like, "There's so many like other." I'm like, I
Did you
just
think it was going
remember
to be the
watching
ones
it.
from Hercules or Hunchback of Notre Dame?
No, oh, did she think?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I guess that's what they are, right?
Yeah.
But but I don't. I think since it's a cartoon, she wasn't expecting that, and I think she maybe possibly remembered it. Like she probably watched like Darkwing Duck, and that's like kind of, it's like, but no, it's not
Let's get dangerous.
dangerous. But I remember watching. It was mostly Jeff that watched Gargoyles, and I never really
Yes.
got into it, so I don't know anything about it. And I'm like, oh, I remember playing with
No,
the
it's
toy.
pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty enjoyable. I also have Captain N, the Game Master. Remember that one? The kid that had the Nintendo belt as a Nintendo controller as his belt buckle, and he had the
Did he
duck
have the
hunt
glove?
gun. He didn't have the glove. Or maybe he does later, but I don't think so. I don't think the glove came out yet. But
Which
I have
also
that too.
that's another one of those things I'm pretty sure Nintendo is pretending never existed
Ooh,
because
and Pirates of Dark Water. Remember Pirates of Dark Water?
that sounds way more familiar, but wait,
I have.
yes. Yeah. Okay, they were human pirates, right?
Well, they were humanoid. I don't know if they were humans, but yeah.
I'm seeing flashes, but I'll have to pull up
You probably have it on your hard drive.
oh, probably. There were some I didn't because believe it or not, you had more than a terabyte worth of videos. Maybe hopefully the FBI isn't listening in on this. Um so I had to pick and choose and oh, and also, I think maybe originally I only had a 500 gig hard drive. So a lot of it where I'm like, no, if it was on Netflix or something at the time,
Right,
I'm
right.
like, no, 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 don't worry about this. And then I think I even told you, I was like, I'm finding duplicates because you had folders for like sci-fi, but then it was also an action, so it'd be like in there. And I'm like,
But see,
you're wasting.
I don't think I've got duplicates. The only duplicates I remember having is if they were in my unwatched folder, I would also
Yeah,
go ahead and
maybe.
categorize them in
Yeah.
to the folders they were in.
Because when I put it in Plex, it'll populate all of them, and if they have the same name, or some
Yes.
of them were like slightly different.
Yeah.
Um, like Alien 3, you can't do the it because Alien 3 is the cubed symbol,
Right.
so it would look different than with the actual little like what is it ASCII kind of
Yeah.
symbol kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Um, which you definitely got all of those.
Yes.
And I've definitely gone through and watched them multiple times, usually in order, back to back,
Yes.
for no reason at all other than
Especially if you think of one particular scene. I've done this where I'm like, shoot, which one was that in? Now I have to watch all of them to find that scene. Or
right.
I watch the one that has a scene. I go, I want to watch the rest of them to fill in the gaps.
I've done it
So
before where I'm like, should I pause this before I go to the bathroom? I'm like, no, I'll just leave the door open and the volume going, and I'll like somehow miss it, the one scene I was looking for, and I'll get all the way to the end. And I'm
there
like,
you
why do
go.
I do this every time? I'm like, just pause it, Logan. You know.
Um, the last thing I wanted to say is I've started playing basketball again. I've enjoyed playing basketball
Oh,
a
nice.
couple times the last several weeks, and I'm not going to get into too many details. I have a jammed finger. I got taken a task by a bunch of high school kids and college students. I held my own, but they played rough. But I was thinking, Matt was saying he wants to come back on another episode. We should do a sports episode with the only one of us that actually cares about sports.
Oh, Matt.
Matt, yeah.
I was like, I thought it was gonna be a joke. I was like, well, it's not me. Uh,
No, I thought sports. We could tell the few stories we have in that, and we can have him on since he actually cares. So that'd be good.
oh, I have one more story. I forgot. I don't remember if I told you or not. What was it? Monday night when I was going to the bathroom. It was like 12:31 or something like that. I did tell you, all right. And then I'm like, something smells like smoke, and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, I have like 500 surge protectors around here. So I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. And then I noticed the AC had kicked on. And I'm like, oh man, I'm really bad about changing out my filter. I'm like, is there something burn? And I got like air fresheners on it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, if I didn't change it, I'm like, is that burning? Because it's like a new thing in there. So I pop open go on my balcony where the HVAC closet's at, and I went to go look at it. I'm like, I don't smell anything. Oh, actually, first I thought somebody is smoking a cigarette in the hallway, and I was thinking of two different people on my floor that it would have possibly been.
Yeah.
And I opened it. I'm like, no, there's no smoke coming from here. Like they're thinking they're just being lazy or something. I don't know. There's no smoke out there. Go out on my balcony, look, nothing. Turn around and I see, oh, the bushes are on fire outside, and they blow through. So, and I literally had a 5 gallon bucket of water on my balcony that I just have for toilet water for if if they shut off the water or whatever, so I can at least still flush because that would be awful. Um, and then I have another one for drinking water because everybody panics in weird parts, and that's just me being from Florida.
There you go.
Uh, so it's just there. Um, but it was too far over the side, and I couldn't lean over. I was like, no, I already just fell out of a tree. I'm not going to lean over this balcony and trust it, with, I don't know, what, 50, 70 pounds
Yeah.
of water,
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
swing sideways and pull out something. So I just ran out, ran downstairs, go through the lobby. I yelled at the guy at the front. I'm like, "Hey man, go!" Because there was a hose right next to where the fire was. Run out there. I'm like, "Hey man, there's a fire out here. Like, how do I turn this hose on?" And he's like, "What do you mean there's a fire?" And I like stopped and like kind of paused. I'm like what I like what I just said. Like the fire, like I don't know. Like think about what I do. I was like, the fire there is out here. That's what I meant. So he comes out. He didn't have a key to the house, so he just flights of stairs with a 5 gallon bucket of water because I'm like, I don't have a hose in my thing. Or his super soaker would have been really great right then. Um, because that you know what, that would be a really cool way to put out a fire.
It would.
Um,
I think your arms get a
also,
little tired.
right, but if I had a Fitbit, it would be very impressed. um, and we actually ended up putting it out with like one of those water planters with little holes that go out like that, and just
There you
filled it
go.
out like
There you go.
7 times. Good thing, and we were like, and we're just sitting there like thinking, and I'm like out of breath because I realized how out of shape I am, uh, running. And he's like, "What do you think it was?" And I'm like, "I'm guessing someone probably flicked a cigarette off their balcony or whatever." Da, 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 da. We're just talking, and then this dude that was sitting in the computer room right behind the desk comes out and like kind of like bout faces and goes back away, and he lights up a cigarette. And I'm like, I bet it was that guy. And he just went to come over where he was smoking, and then he realized, oh wait, did I do that? As the wise man Stephen Urkel once said.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, I
Oh
know.
man.
So
Oh man.
yeah, that was a fun Monday night. And then I'm like, all right, well now I can't fall asleep because my heart's racing. I basically just ran a marathon real quick.
Well,
Go back to that. Yeah.
I'm glad your building didn't burn down. Well, we're gonna put a cap on this episode, and we'll be back again next week with another one. Just want to give you guys some what's going on and kick off season 2. Make sure you guys are following us on Facebook. Leave us some comments there, rate us, and subscribe on iTunes and on Podbean and anywhere you see it. Just let us know maybe what's going on in your life. Tell us like we care. I don't know. I'm struggling for
Yeah.
words.
Oh, I care. CJ might not care, but I care.
Oh, I hear my kids coming in for playing checkers. I gotta go.
Mm.